And what's going on, guys? Kale here, coming at you with another video. Those of you new to the channel, I am an endgame player with 3 accounts, all in the endgame. Today we are on the baby account, who I have recently actually renamed, formerly known as Minicall, now Valerian. So this video is going to be a first impression of the Doom 3 raids, and Valerian essentially moved over to a new alliance to make space for one of our new members, and we are going to be attempting our actual first Doom 3 run next Monday at the time of recording this video. So I just wanted to kind of go in and kind of give my first impressions. So Valerian is on lane 2, which is going to be the middle lane of the Doom 3 section. So, looking at that over here, let's see. So my lane partner has actually already cleared, the initial section. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in and, basically assist in the other side of skill. So the boss node is down, so I won't obviously be able to give my impressions on that. But let's just go in and see what this is about. Now, Valerian is a little bit, obviously, as far as teams go, not fully maxed, so it is the weakest of my 3 accounts. So kind of my impression is if Valerian is able to basically do these nodes successfully, I feel like Dracarys and Kale should have no issues. So we'll go in, we'll see what happens. I haven't really looked at these nodes too much, as far as, like, watching other videos. Kind of what I have heard initially is that Mutant and Tech are quite challenging, and that's been a little bit of a struggle, I think, for some people, and we'll certainly look at possible strategies for that. What I've kind of heard from Valerian's alliance is that actually skill seems to be a little bit easier than Doom 2.3, which is what the alliance that I'm currently in was running. So let's see. I'm not really hyper targeting anything. I am wanting to get rid of those Thors, and looking at the damage here, the skill team actually seems to be doing really well. At least with this first wave. I'm going to kind of get to the point now where I'm going to start saving cooldowns. So we do have 2 Hellas here, with 2 Gregs, so, not really anything too crazy. I am going to basically get the Hellas down. Actually, that went a lot faster than I anticipated. I was going to say I'm going to start saving cooldowns once I get rid of the Hellas, but that Hella dropped pretty quickly. So, looks like these are actually just my last 2 enemies as far as kind of what we've got going on. So just going to basically basic at this point. This first node went super easy. Not really too many issues here. And yeah, I think I would definitely kind of, share the sentiments that skill seems to be pretty easy. I mean, that really, I would say, was a lot easier than the Doom 2 skill sections, as sometimes those can be kind of very cooldown dependent. So let's go ahead and try the next node. Obviously, the boss node is not an option since it has already been completed, but, we can certainly look at that at a later date. And I think kind of what I'll do is this will probably be a 2-parter, as I'll probably be able to get up to, with my energy, it looks like I'll be able to attempt the 2 bio nodes that I have left. So there is node 2 and the boss node, and the second skill node. So that'll be 30 energies, and then I'll probably be able to try 1 tech node. So let's go into skill node number 2, and I will say with Doom 2, The first two skills nodes in particular were very kind of cooldown dependent. So kind of curious to see how this kind of like skill section goes. That first node did not really seem very challenging at all. This is obviously standard Doom 3 difficulty, and I imagine, they'll probably scale a little bit as, it increases in difficulty, but right now, that went pretty smoothly. We are loading into the next node. And I do apologize for the wait time. BlueStacks does seem to be a little bit slower with this last patch. So as soon as we load up, we will be underway. And sorry about that, y'all. I had to basically close BlueStacks and reload. It looked like I kind of lagged out at 90%. So we've got the fight basically loaded back in. Hopefully we don't lag out this time. There we go. Alright, so this is node 2 of skill. Looks like we've got 12 enemies. So that's one thing I am noticing. These nodes do seem to be essentially kind of like less enemies. I think I'm going to go in here with Kestrel's special and kind of just go right down the middle, kind of get the max amount of defense downs. Since the boss node is obviously not available as it's already been cleared, I'm not really worried about saving cooldowns now. And it did look like we just lost Shang-Chi, so that is unfortunate. Now also, the other thing I guess I will note with Kayle, or not with Kayle rather, with Balerion, my characters, for the most part, are all level 85. I've kind of been in the process, actually, of working on my Doom 2 teams. So I was actually working on skill to take them all to level 85. So I want to say, I think Kestrel and Maria Hill are not 85 yet. So we'll go look at that real quick. But yeah, so I mean, this isn't overly challenging, I would say. Looking here, I think I am going to want to get rid of Ghost Rider over here, as he will be pinging as I kill my remaining enemies. I think my next target after Ghost Rider is probably going to be Deathpool. And this one is going a little bit more rocky than obviously that first node. Still, I think, in an okay spot. We got rid of Ghost Rider over there. Let's go ahead and heal up with Maria Hill. Now, obviously, this is not the cleanest fight in the world, and, still obviously going to be learning these fights. That is a process that I think does take some time. So, we'll see. I don't think... I might be able to clear it with my remaining 3 characters. Let's see if essentially the Secret Avengers can kind of pull this off. If it does look to the point where it's looking really rough, I will obviously close out and heal up Kestrel and Shang-Chi, and then, kind of go from there. But yeah, so let's get some summons on the field. Now with the summons, we are going to have to be careful, because if Kestrel, or not Kestrel, rather, what's happening right now, with Deathpool killing them, or anyone really, it's kind of having this dual effect. So basically, we just gave speed to Carnage, and Kestrel, or I don't know why I keep calling her Kestrel, Deathpool was able to pop off with her passive. So that's definitely something to kind of consider, and we are going to go ahead and quit out here. So what I'm seeing with this fight is you're definitely not going to want summons on the field while Deathpool is there, especially because Maria Hill's summons do have such low health. They're basically kind of 2-tap characters. So if those characters are on the field when Deathpool drops, I think what I actually kind of played wrong there is I targeted Ghost Rider as my first target, and honestly, I think that Deathpool is the bigger threat when you have those summons out. because she's basically going to be doing those ping attacks, and it looked like she was hitting pretty hard. And then secondly, that also gave a lot of speed up to Carnage, because you had 3 characters basically drop in the red. So that's definitely something I think I misplayed on that first one. And again, like I said, stuff like this is definitely, there's a learning curve involved. And so it'll be just something we'll kind of have to play with. And, as we learn these nodes a little bit better. One thing I am noticing, though, is, essentially how hard Shang-Chi is hitting. So looks like this team is actually still going to be Doom 3 viable, and it might just be kind of just a situation of getting them closer to level 90, and maybe like Blue ISO 4 might kind of make them more raid viable again. But that was a pretty easy 2-tap, when I was able to kind of clean up my misplay, and yeah, so not too bad. We are going to move on over into the bio section, and I will now go back into Balerian's proper lane. So I'm essentially lane 2, so I'm in the middle. And I know I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but like I said, this probably will be a 2-parter. I am set to fly out today, so I'll actually be getting down over to Orlando later tonight. And I think by that time, my raid energy should probably be refreshed some, and I think that will probably be either in the Mystic/Mutant sections, and maybe even done with tech. So we'll kind of see, we'll kind of keep that in mind. But from what I've been kind of listening to my alliance mates in this new alliance with Balerion, is that, and from what I've just been kind of reading online and with some of the other content creators, is that Mutant and Tech are definitely the harder parts of this raid. Bio is a little challenging in the sense where you're not able to hit auto, so basically they're not raid simmable. And, that might change as the Web Warriors get more developed. So looking here, with all of the debuffs the Web Warriors put out, Psylocke is definitely going to be a prime target for me. I don't want her basically taking all the debuffs I'm putting out and putting it back on my team. So I'm going to get rid of her first, and we got that done pretty quickly. So my new target, I think, is going to actually be Jubilee. Though I do want to be careful of these Phyla-Vels. So let's actually go after Phyla-Vel. I know Phyla-Vel can be a bit of a problem with the Web Warriors in Doom 2, so I'm going to kind of go with that similar mentality. Let's see. So there's a bunch of immunities out here, so doing Spider-Punk's ult isn't really going to do much, because it's not going to get those heal blocks or traumas because of the immunity. So let's go in with the special and just basically do some chain damage and try to get some of these enemies down. And I will, basically say that I'm kind of surprised that these enemies don't seem to have as much health, as I feel like they do in, like, Doom 2 even. I feel like things are dying pretty quickly. And, yeah, so anyway. We did have a next wave drop, so looking here, we've got a Phoenix, so that'll probably be semi-problematic, as her attacks are all unavoidable once she goes into Dark Phoenix. So we'll want to get rid of her pretty quickly. Let's see how we are doing surviving-wise. Still going pretty good. I still definitely think I want to get rid of that Phyla-Vel, so let's go ahead and ability block her. And I do apologize for some of the lag. Alright, let's go ahead and get those traumas out, because there's really not any immunity on the field anymore. That'll also get some heal blocks out, which should prevent Beast from healing, as well as stripping those away. I am going to save this... Oh, actually, there's a little magic over here. So actually, let's get rid of magic. We don't want magic alive when Phoenix dies, as she'll basically just kind of keep resummoning Dark Phoenix, and we don't want that. So magic is going to be a prime target as well. Let's see. Should be Scarlet Spider who goes next. So let's go ahead. We'll do the special and extend some of those debuffs. Okay, we lost the Phyla, which is good. So we are now going to go in and let's actually reduce Phoenix's speed bar because I don't want her taunting. And the goal now is to basically drop magic. So let's go ahead and spread all of these debuffs. And we are getting close to timing out, and I think some of that might just be essentially for me running my mouth. I don't think this node will be kind of a timeout issue, but I think that's just kind of the nature of when you're kind of talking and explaining these nodes and kind of essentially thinking out loud. So Phoenix did get her taunt up, which is unfortunate. So we are going to be kind of forced. Let's actually go over here and target Colossus. And from splash damage, maybe we can kind of get magic down before Phoenix goes out. Alright, so we are kind of stuck behind that Colossus taunt, and I am noticing this Colossus definitely seems to have a lot of resistance, which, I mean, mind you, he normally does anyway, but I'm not stripping any of his buffs. Like, you're seeing, like, all those resistance pop up, and I think that is definitely a nature of Doom 3, so I would say he probably has higher resistance than normal. We did lose, Phoenix did die, which I didn't want to happen while Magic was still alive, but let's see if we can kind of take her out pretty quickly. She doesn't seem to have much health, so that is still kind of in line with the way Phoenix normally is. She's definitely not a meta character anymore, to say the least bit. Looks like we are going to time out on this one, and I think that might be a nature of me talking. So we will kind of come back in here for a second tap. Now, one good thing, I guess, about a second tap on this is Phoenix will already be dead, so we won't have to contend with a Phoenix. So really all we'll have to do is just a little bit of cleanup. So the goal kind of here will be to kind of nurse my Web Warriors back to full health, or at least that's the plan. So Mini is running, I keep calling him Mini for force of habit. Balerion actually is a little low on health packs, so I haven't really been able to kind of save up. That's definitely going to be a goal going forward. But yeah, so let's go in, and I think we definitely need to at least heal Ghost Spider. And maybe Scarlet Spider. Alright, so we healed up a little bit more than I wanted to, but I figured it's easier to heal up 2 characters versus blowing 50 cores to heal up the whole team. But so far, impressions. Now, Balerion's Web Warriors, like you saw, are just about 818k. So, you know, they're nicely built. They're not, you know, obviously the biggest Web Warriors. There's definitely some room for growth. So yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely manageable. I don't think, honestly, though, that this would be simmable. And, you know, something can definitely test out a little bit later on. But, yeah, this isn't looking super simmable to me, as it is very kind of dependent on, like, who you're targeting. And if you're having to kind of choose your targets, that is typically not simmable behavior. But anyway, we're able to kind of nurse our Web Warriors back to health. They are all in the green. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy a raid pack, and we will give the boss node a whirl and see what a boss node in Doom 3 is like. But so far, I definitely would say the left-hand side of the raid is pretty manageable. Skill was pretty easy, despite my misplay. And I would say bio is fairly easy. Obviously, I didn't get to do the first node. And I think some of that might have been a little bit of misplay on my part. But the timing out thing, I'm going to have to kind of test that out a little bit more and see if that's a nature of just me kind of talking while recording, or if it's actually that my web warriors are not quite strong enough, and they might actually need to be, either leveled up a little bit or, possibly even geared up a little bit more. Which, keep in mind, Balerion, just from the nature of my DD5 attempt, actually Spider-Punk, Scarlet Spider, and Ghost Spider are actually all G16. So the only one that is not G16 is Miles and OG Spider-Man. But let's see what we got here. So we have a Surfer. So Surfer is going to do his ult on turn 1, so let's go ahead and ability block him, which he resisted, so that's super. That's awesome. Anyway, let's see. So since we missed that ability block, let's go ahead and slow him down. And now my goal, I guess, is going to be to kind of basically nuke him down to avoid that 2-turn ability block. So we'll get some additional slows out, as well as some nice healing. Let's go ahead and put Trauma, so Phyla-Vell can't remove those slows. And all right, let's go ahead and do the special. And we were able to get rid of Surfer, so awesome on that part. My next target, let's see, based off of what I have, let's go ahead and get rid of Ebony Maw, because if Ebony Maw does his ult, he is going to basically give my team slow, and we definitely don't want that. And he is basically almost dead, so this should be a pretty easy kill. There we go. We're going to basic for right now and kind of save and build up some cooldowns for what I'm assuming is the next wave. And I guess I've been extra reckless. I haven't really been looking at the waves. So I guess shame on me on that part. We've got an Icarus that is obviously going to be a prime candidate. So we resisted the stun, which is okay. We did get a slow on him, so let's kind of spread those slows. And I think actually, now that I'm looking at this, I probably should have saved Spider-Punk's ultimate, because that would have allowed me to put stun, or not stun rather, it would have allowed me to put trauma and heal block on Icarus. So actually it probably would have avoided him healing back all the way up. But anyway, that's, again, just kind of a nature of learning these nodes. So I'm kind of going to chain to do the most amount of damage. Icarus did do his little kind of like heal up already, so if we are able to... We're not going to be able to kill him, obviously, before he ults, so now we're going to pray to RNGesus and hope we don't get blown up. We lived through that, so that's good. Now that basically, let's see if we can kind of get some health back up, and hopefully we can avoid... Yeah, that was nasty. All right, so we are going to quit out of this before we have a full wipe. Definitely some misplays on that on my end. I think what I could have done differently on that node is actually, like I said, saving Spider-Punk's ultimate and dropping that heal block and trauma once Icarus drops, because then he wouldn't have been able to heal up and I would have been able to kill him. And with him dead, I wouldn't have been hit as hard. Because I had the Icarus ult, and then I had the Cersei ult following that immediately. So that was a big reduction in speed bar, both from Icarus and Cersei. So I think that was a misplay on my part. And, again, it's one of those things. I think Doom 3 is going to be a learning curve. But this is an easy cleanup for one of my raid lane partners to basically go in and finish this node. So that's kind of, I guess, some early... initial impressions of Doom 3. Skill and bio definitely seem manageable. It's definitely a little bit of a learning curve, which I think is to be expected with new raid content. But just to kind of look to and kind of see where my skill team is at as far as power. If you look over here, scroll down to skill. So if we look at my skill team over here, so Cap Sam, Sharon, Shang-Chi are 85, but Kestrel and Maria Hill are only 83. Both are G15, not G16, so that's definitely something that I think does probably affect that. And if we are looking at my Web Warriors, Web Warriors are right here. So with my Web Warriors, like I said, my Web Warriors are fairly beefy on Balerion. 7 stars on OG and Miles, both with 5 red. Actually, they're all 5 red except Scarlet Spider. And then, like I said, G16 on Scarlet Spider, Punk, and Ghost Spider. So, definitely, I think a nice kind of first impression of Doom 3. The good thing that I think kind of testing this out on Balerion makes me pretty confident that my actual alliance that Dracarys and Kael are in should be able to manage this content pretty easily. Or at least, we should easily be able to hit 30%. If we're looking over here, this alliance that Balerion in is pretty crazy. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that actually have already completed DD5 2 times, and the TCPs in this alliance are pretty crazy, and we are managing it pretty well. And just to kind of, look also. So, this is an alliance with a bunch of people with, 20 million plus TCP. And Balerion, formerly known as Minicall, is actually the smallest member at only 12.3. So I definitely think Doom 3 content is doable for my mains alliance. And kind of keep this going. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. If you've made it this far and you have not already liked and subscribed, please feel free to do so if you did find this video enjoyable. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will have an updated kind of first impressions of Doom 3 for possibly Tech, Mystic, and Mutant once I do get to my hotel a little later tonight. So thank you so much for watching, take it easy, and I'll see you next time.